So the Oregon men weren't the only team winning on Friday. Baseball won, and Kelly Graves is kind of sort of back. Not to the Sabrina level quite yet, but for the 10th time in his career, which I believe is the most of any coach, Kelly Graves won as a 10 seed. Dude is lethal. Lethal as a 10 seed. And Oregon beat Vanderbilt, the 7 seed, and they take on Duke next. I'll get to why that's tougher than what Oregon has to deal with for Dana Altman's squad in just a moment. But this is just such a phenomenal bounce back season. I said going into this tournament that Oregon season is already a success. Anything you get from here is just an added bonus. Well, here's an added bonus. Oregon outplayed Vanderbilt, who's a good team. Outplayed them, almost gave it away. There was a call at the end of this game that Oregon didn't get. They should have had 2 free throws with 0.2 of a second left, and only one would have needed to go in to win the game. But Oregon blew a 19-point lead that they had built in the third quarter, and the game ended up going to overtime, and then Oregon outscored the Commodores 10-6 to win 77-73. Duke is up next, and this is just an incredible one-year turnaround by Kelly Graves. And last year, there were plenty of people, I'm sure. I know there were some, I'd hear from them from time to time, but I'm sure there were plenty more people that thought Kelly Graves needs to go. Kelly Graves is not, and in their defense, I will defend that crowd more than I'll defend the Fire Dana Altman crowd who's in the round of 32 for the second straight year. However, I'll also point out I was never in the Fire Kelly Graves camp because of one down season, but it was down. It was bad. Last year was the worst season that I can remember for Oregon women's basketball. To follow that up 1 year later and to be in the round of 32 is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. And Coach Graves and his staff should be commended, and the players as well, for what they have done this year. I mean, this has been huge. I didn't think Oregon would be in this spot for another year or two on the women's side if they were building back up. This happened quicker than I expected, and the 2 transfers they brought in were the big reasons why. Peyton Scott from Miami of Ohio and Deja Kelly, who had a team-high 20 points on 6 of 16 shooting and had 3 steals and 8 rebounds to boot. She was great. Both she and Scott had some tough shot making in this game. The art of the mid-range jumper and driving to the basket is not lost on either of those two in this modern world of basketball. So what Kelly Graves was able to accomplish this year has been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's been embracing the portal that I think has been a big part of it. Oregon's not in this spot without either of those two, who I believe are done from an eligibility standpoint after this season. But hey, who knows where this season is about to go? Because Oregon, who lost their first game in the Big Ten tournament to Indiana, then came and bounced back and beat Vanderbilt, and they were going all the way across the country. They were in Duke's arena. They were in Duke's arena here. So to have this level of turnaround, a 14-game losing skid where they were getting blown out regularly a season ago in that stretch, it's not like, oh, they were competitive losses. No, they were getting housed. They were getting absolutely worked. And people did ask, oh, is Kelly Graves just kind of done as a head coach? No, he's not. He's still a really good coach. And a couple of years ago, those questions started to surface. Narrative kind of started to form amongst some sections of the Oregon fan base. As Dana Altman does, missed the tournament 2 years in a row. He might miss the tournament 3 years in a row. Had he not won the final Pac-12 tournament, he would have missed the tournament 3 years in a row, but he did win that. And Kelly Graves might have had more of a hot seat if this season hadn't gone well, but it is going well. So both these guys have got my full-fledged confidence to lead their respective programs. But Deja Kelly, Peyton Scott led the way. But the reason that this game is going to be tougher for Kelly Graves and company is the way it works on the women's side is different than how it works on the men's side. So the men are playing in Seattle at Climate Pledge Arena, which is where they will play Arizona on Sunday, and where the Wildcats just beat the Akron Zips, as I mentioned in the previous segment, and the winner will then go on to the Sweet 16 and likely face Duke. Now, the difference, and what a storyline that would be, the women are going to face Duke. If the men also face Duke, that'd be something. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here, because there's an entire game to go between now and then, and Duke has to win their game. So a lot can happen in March, of course. But The women have to play in Duke's arena. The women's college basketball tournament does it like college baseball, where teams host a regional site. Duke is hosting the regional. And so for the women to not just be on the other side of the country, which, as I mentioned earlier, looked to be a factor for Liberty going all the way to Seattle, they're going to be in Duke's arena. That's going to feel like a de facto road game. And that's certainly a challenge. Now, would it be awesome for Oregon to find a way to win that game? 100%. But as I said coming into this tournament, and I'm saying it again now after Oregon's win against Vanderbilt, which was almost a mess and would have felt like a disappointment because of how well they were playing. I mean, they had a 19-point third quarter lead, and then all of a sudden the game was tied with 4 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Like, it was missed shots, missed free throws, bad turnovers. There was just a lot wrong with what Oregon did in that stretch of time, but they found a way to get it just to overtime, to not be losing right then, and then to be able to go to overtime and win after giving up that lead, I think shows a lot of veteran leadership from the two transfers I mentioned, Scott and Deja Kelly, and just a lot of intestinal fortitude. Philly Che, you got to throw her in that conversation as well. Philly Che is a unique women's basketball player. She cannot be moved. She's too strong. She's too big and too strong for everybody that tries to go up and guard her. And her defensive impact, I think, is really, really important for the Ducks. But if they go and win this game to Duke, hey, let's talk about what kind of magical run they could go on. But overall, this is immediately a successful season plus. I had already said it was a successful season just to make it to the tournament, to be in the field, but to win a game and for it to have not been fluky, where they outplayed Vandy and then let it slip, rather than they climbed their way back into it and they felt like they just kind of, scrapped and fought and clawed, but it didn't feel super sustainable. No, they looked like they were just playing good basketball out there. And if they're able to do that again, heck, it's March, man. Crazier upsets have happened out there. They only attempted 16 threes and they attempted 27 free throws. Now, Oregon needs to make more of those. They made just 15 against the Commodores. Going up against the 2 seed in Duke on their home floor, yeah, you're going to have to make more than 56% of your free throws as a team. But I think this was just such an awesome moment for this program. I mean, it was just last year that it was in chaotic freefall. And now all of a sudden, they've got serious momentum. And we'll see how far this season goes. We'll see how they attack the offseason. But what a coaching job by Kelly Graves and his staff to flip around the culture and get back to their winning ways. This is where I expect Oregon basketball to be. Men's side, women's side, in the tournament, winning games, trying to figure out how they put together a team that can make a run to the Final Four and, God willing, a national championship one day. So I'm here for it. Congratulations to the Ducks, and we'll see how they fare this weekend. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and go Ducks.